Reclaiming Futures is one of the initiatives that's going on right now that incorporates concepts of positive youth development in reforming the juvenile justice system. And positive youth development is really a field of practice and policy that blends the concepts of adolescent development and effective services. We know from years of experience that therapeutic programs are sometimes necessary and helpful, but we also know that a lot of adolescents involved in the justice system aren't really disturbed in any way. They don't have psychological problems or emotional problems or even severe drug dependencies and drug abuse, but they're going through the transition from adolescence into adulthood, and that's a challenging phase of life. So the juvenile justice system should really leverage all those forces for good. So rather than resist the things that make teenagers teenagers, positive youth development says, let's build upon those in a strength-based way. So when an adolescent mouths off to us and resists our efforts to help them, why is that? And what do they want from us? Then we find out what they're after, what their interests are. And let's say a young person is really interested in music or cars or sports. So you build from that. But you don't just focus on their interests. You also try to steer them in a direction that attaches them to positive resources. So a positive youth development effort would build up their relationships with pro-social adults. It would build up their attachments to school, work, help them learn skills that other people can appreciate, and focus on creative energies. It really tries to attach them to all the positive things that all adolescents need in a way that would help them stay out of the justice system. Asking the juvenile justice system to focus on positive youth development is really asking the people who work in that system to approach youth from a different perspective. So instead of looking at their risk factors and trying to understand what's going wrong in their life, you focus on what's going right in their life, and you try to attach them to assets or resources that will help them transition into adulthood. That means not just surveillance and control and sanctioning, but attaching and engaging them in positive forces in the community, in their own families, around the neighborhood, and that's a different kind of role. You become more of a service broker. Some people like to say that instead of just being a travel agent and handing them a referral and saying, why don't you go get some help, we act more like a tour guide and go along with them and introduce them to the place and maybe stay for the first afternoon of that after-school program or that workforce development program and help become their guide to attach them to those positive forces. So it's asking probation officers, not just them, judges, other treatment specialists, social workers, school personnel. It's asking everyone to adopt a new frame of how to build a strong environment for each adolescent and enhance their positive assets rather than just focusing on their deficits and their problems.